And we are in the kitchen this morning with Georgia Shambay, Culinary Director at Joe's Crab Shack, and today we're making a classic seafood steam pot. And before we get started, let's check out a list of the ingredients. Why don't you take us through what we'll be using today?
Well, before we start making the classic steam pot, we have a few different species at Joe's. We have a whole lobster. For Dungeness is a hard shell crab legs, and then you have the snow, which is for the beginners, and of course you have the king crab. As you can see, we have impressive, our most impressive steam pot here is the Beantown Bake. You have 2 whole lobster, and you have clams, shrimp, potatoes, and of course the fresh corn.
Which I will be eating all of that myself today, in case anyone was wondering, but go ahead.
And then the future today is the classic steam pot, which has the Dungeness crab, you have the snow, you have of course shrimp, sausage, potatoes, and fresh corn. And today's flavor that I'll be making is called the garlic pot.
So no one's going to want to talk to us today after we eat this, because it's going to be that amazing combination of butter and garlic.
For real, yes.
That's
and it's really tasty too. I mean,
oh,
absolutely. Of course, we have the appetizer here, which is the crab nacho. It's made from the crab meat that we get from the crab legs. And you can see there's a pile of nachos up there.
That sounds delicious. Everything sounds amazing. I'm so excited to get started with this. First of all, let's talk about what's in the pot so folks know exactly how to mix some stuff up.
For the garlic boil, all is real simple. You can do butter, you can do oil, depending on the fat content that you want.
Okay.
Chopped whole garlic, and then peppers and salt, depending on how you want it. You can spice it up if you want Old Bay seasoning. If you want it more spicy, you can put Cajun seasoning. Just whatever flavor you want. Just bring it to a boil, a rolling boil, and let it sit. And all we do at Joe's, everything is portioned in a nice bag, and it goes in the pot for about 5 to 6 minutes, and it's ready to go.
You just drop the whole thing in there?
The whole thing.
And let it cook.
Including the potatoes and the corn.
Okay, well, do you want to start maybe on one of these now, or should we mix some things up?
First of all, I have a pot that's made already.
Okay. You should see all the stuff he has down here. There's so much.
So I have the shrimp in here. It's already, you have the Dungeness crab. Of course, I have the snow, the potatoes, and the corn. Okay. So what I do, all this is all ready to go. The boil's rolling boil, and it goes in the pot.
You just drop it all in together.
Just drop it in there and let it sit there for about 5 minutes, and it's ready for service.
It's amazing that that's all it takes for something that tastes so incredible.
Good. Right. It's all the groundwork that we do in the back, making sure the crab legs are pristine flavored, make sure it's a good catch, and also make sure it's iced properly in the back. All those process keeps the flavor intact.
Now, at some point, are you going to be able to show us? I know some may already be pros at cracking and getting the meat out and tearing into the lobster. Are you going to be able to show us how to do that?
And then today, for a crab beginner, someone that hasn't done crab legs before, this is a great pot to have. Okay. It's called the Crab Daddy Feast, which includes the snow. It has the king, and it has the Dungeness. So you have opportunity to do that. For a beginner, cracking the snow is really easy. You just go back and forth, and it cracks. If you want to use the crackers, which we have the crackers up there, and then for the zippers, it's for the king. I mean, and those are for a great beginner. So what I'll do, I'll crack some later on in the show. Great. And then we can eat after that.
Hey, I am looking forward to that, that's for sure. I think we're all pretty excited about this today. But first, before we continue with all of that, let's get another check on the weather, because there's certainly a lot going on. Hey, Jeremy. Yeah. All right, everyone, we are in the kitchen this morning with George Shambay, Culinary Director at Joe's Crab Shack. I am modeling one of their lovely aprons here. I promised them I'd put it on. Who doesn't want to wear tie-dye?
No, they're great.
All day, every day, right? Well, today we're making a classic seafood steam pot. It smells delicious. It smells garlicky. It smells buttery. And we've got the goods right in there.
Yes. We have it in the boil for about 5 minutes now. You can see the corn is all ready to go.
It's beautiful.
And then you have all the potatoes all good to go. And Joe's, what you do, once this is hot enough, it just goes in the pot. So you can see it's still steaming nice. And then we open the net for you so that way all the products are reachable. My favorite flavor, after it goes in the garlic, I finish it with it's a crawfish seasoning that I like. It goes in there. You can do simple Old Bay, or you can just do simple parsley. For me, I like the crawfish seasoning. So just
and is that more of like the Cajun seasoning that you were talking about earlier?
It's a little spicier than the Cajun seasoning. I mean, it's a combination of about 3 or 4 spices in there. Yeah. For those that like Old Bay, just straight Old Bay would just work fine. As you can see, the classic steam pot, we have the shrimp. You have half a dozen of shrimp, a whole fresh corn. We try to represent, do a lot of the fresh products at Joe's. We do a lot of local produce, and that's why we do fresh corn and all our stuff. And so is the red beet potatoes. So you have the red beet potatoes, you have the whole Dungeness, and then you have the whole, and this is ready to go, and it just goes on the lake. Cover it, so keep all the steams in there, and then we'll serve it on the dining room.
Very excited about that. And you said this is all local?
Yeah, it's
trying
all
to get all local and fresh vegetables.
Fresh,
I'm sure everyone loves to hear right now.
So we do all that local. And then, you know, and also I didn't talk about drinks earlier, but we have a lot of patios at Joe's Crab Shack.
Yes.
And for the summer drinks, we feature in a sangria in a mason jar.
That's this right here.
Yeah, and then we have the spiked tea.
On this one, okay, and these are all great for.
And we have the Bayou. Temperature, and then you have the Bayou Margarita.
Okay, and what's in that one?
The Bayou Margarita is almost like a margarita, but we have a different flavor.
Okay.
You have the Patron and all the stuff in that one, and then you the shark bite.
I'm asking the chef how to mix the drinks. That's not
no,
necessarily a specialty.
I do drinks too.
You do too?
Yeah, and then for the shark bites, you know, when you have that at Joe's, everybody in the dining room always. It's announced so that everybody knows you're having a shark bite at Joe's Crab Shack.
All right, we're going to check back in here in just a few minutes so we can get to cracking all of this stuff open, which we would love. And when we're talking about drinks in those glasses. And we are in the kitchen this morning with George Asanbi, a culinary director at Joe's Crab Shack. Today, we're finishing up making that classic seafood steam pot. And at Joe's Crab Shack, I'm told that when you get down to business, this gets tied around us.
Yes, once you order a steam pot and it gets to the table.
Getting in the full Joe's Crab Shack experience.
And the server will ask you if you want this to be tied around you.
And we're going to be tearing into this, so this needs to be done.
And that means, you know, it's time to get cracking.
That's right, let's get cracking. I love it. So let's do it. So now the main thing we're doing, we have some crab legs in the pot. Going to pull those out, and then you're going to show us how to properly
crack some of this.
Goodness.
As you can see, it's hot. When it comes to your table, it should be steaming, so you can smell the aroma from the garlic.
Yeah.
At Joe's, you know, we do have different flavors too. Besides garlic, there's two new classic steam pot that just came up. One of them is called Raging Cajun, which is spicy, but real flavorful, and it has almost 5 levels of flavors. The other one is Diablo, which has the Latin citrus tomato sauce that goes on it, tossed in some sausage and onions and tomatoes. Those are really good new classic steam pot. So earlier, I dropped this in here, and it was nice and hot, and I just added the king crab because this is one of my favorites. So.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to object to
that. But for starters, like I said earlier, was this. For the snow, they're really easy to crack. So for a beginner, you just take them apart, and for me, I just go back and forth.
Let's see if you can get a perfect pull. It's going to be tricky. Let's see. But you got to love doing it. I mean, this is the fun. You have to be prepared to go there
and pull it out.
Get messy.
So that's a good one right there.
Let's pop this off here.
And then you can do the zippers too if you want.
You know, when I go, I usually end up taking all of my jewelry off because it gets serious when that happens.
To use the zipper, you just go back and forth this way. And just open up.
Right now, I just have a lot of juice pouring off of mine. I'm struggling getting the actual meat. I can do this at the restaurant, but for some reason, I can't do it on live TV.
So you have more of this.
So let's rip into that king crab leg. I think that's what a lot of folks are waiting for. Me too. Let's try that.
The king, same way. You just use the zipper. Just go back.
Success.
Zip it all the way.
Okay. Wow, look at that. That's impressive. You see how big this chunk is in there. That's unreal.
And there you have it.
I would say that is king crab. Is that one of the most popular ones? Would you say the king crab is for people to get, or are they all about the same when people?
Well, king is good because you have a lot of protein in there also versus the snow. The snow is more fun. It's easy. It's sweeter and a lot tender. For those that want to use the crackers, which I was talking about earlier, if you want to use this cracker to crack the Dungeness, basically it's the same way. You split the crab.
Okay.
And all this is edible too.
Right.
I mean, for some people they do the shells, but just crack it.
We'll see what's in there, and then we're going to toss it over to Cheryl in just 1 second there. Man down. We got a claw down. All right, so we'll crack that open and get all the meat out of that claw there, because you know that that is some really good stuff. Perfect.
There you go.
And let's end on that very positive note. I'm going to take a bite of this. And Cheryl, let's head over to you with the audience.